Welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Riesa, Pascal. Our next guest is a psychologist and a human connection expert. Dr. Jody Carrington has just released her third book titled Feeling Seen, Reconnecting in a Disconnected World. And we are excited to welcome Jody to the show. Hey, Jody.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us on Daily Flash. We're going to jump onto this topic about being disconnected. And I got to start with, how did we become so disconnected?
Oh my goodness, there's a number of factors, okay? So first of all, I think we've never been more disconnected in the history of the free world than we are in this moment. Despite the fact that we have never had this much access to resources or research, we have never been this disconnected. Exponentially sort of added to that was the last almost 3 years in the pandemic. And I will tell you what we will never automate is relationship. We are neurobiologically wired for connection. But the only way we know we matter is when we spend time with each other. And over the last 2 generations, not only has proximity to each other increased significantly, but as has our exit ramps. And despite the fact that we are wired for connection, the hardest thing we will do is look into the eyes of the people we love. And so now we have a lot of options to look everywhere else, like our phones and our computers, and to work from home. And exponentially, what we've seen is a mental health crisis, a rise in divorce, child maltreatment, domestic violence, everything that would say we're trending in the wrong direction to be able to be healthy and connected. We need each other.
And you mentioned this trending in the wrong direction. In some ways, it feels like we've reached this point and there's no going back. So how can we, as a society, find ways to reconnect with individuals? What can we do? Is there anything we can do, really?
Oh my gosh, yes. Listen, I've never had this much hope in humanity, okay? Because here's the issue. This is what I love the most about it. The bar is so low, okay? You give a compliment at the coffee shop and people are like, oh my gosh, I love you.
Yeah.
You tell some father or some mother that you think their kid is fantastic. I think right now we are so overwhelmed with all of the things we need to be worried about. We stop thinking about just doing the next best right kind thing, waving at your neighbor, stopping at the stoplight and looking over at somebody like this, buying a coffee, giving a compliment, doing those sorts of things. I mean, we're all here walking each other home. One of the favorite quotes of all time from a guy named Ram Dass said this: we're all just here walking each other home. And I think we are often best when we're giving it away. That's where we're emotionally regulated. And so it's sort of this trick of anytime you can today, give it away. I promise you, it might not only change a life, it might even save it.
I love that. You mentioned earlier how sometimes it's hard to connect with those people that we love the most, which feels like an oxymoron. Why is it harder to connect with those individuals?
Because there's so much skin in the game.
Okay.
So we are typically better with other people's children. I don't know if you know this. So I wrote a best-selling book. The first one was called Kids These Days. And if you see me with my own personal children, you wouldn't buy the book, okay? We are so much better with other people's children. You know what I mean? So your babies come into my house and they'd be like, hey, what's for supper around here? And I'd be like, hey, I got lots of choices, honey. Are you okay? Did you have a good day? My personal 10-year-old comes in and slams the door and says, what's for supper around here? And I watch it. And all I can think of in my head is like, oh my gosh, he's going to be drunk Uncle Mark. We've got this problem. You're just like your father. I shouldn't have married your father. Get you in the room. Like that. Huh? And all behavior has meaning. And when we are regulated and filled up, I can sink into my babies all day long, you see, because the chaos is necessary to learn the calm.
Right.
You can't just keep people calm. We got to be open to acknowledge that there's not a bad emotion right now. And there's a lot of them. We're feeling a lot of them. And
Right.
Emotions won't kill you. Depression, anxiety won't kill you, but not talking about it might.
Excellent. Dr. Jody, such helpful information. We want to thank you for joining us. For those of you at home, if you would like more information, you can go to drjodycarrington.com.